Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Celise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we will be talking about 8 underrated horror releases that came out this year that you need to see before the year ends. Let's get into the video. Oh my god, a travesty. I know. It's a gemless day today. No eye gems are present for this beautiful look. I'm really obsessed with this top I got. I feel like it's really giving Glinda, and I'm living for that. But I don't currently have any more light pink eye gems, so those are on its way, and we are doing this entire video with just a cat eye, so deal with it. Now, before we get into today's list, I have to say, what a crazy year it's been for horror movies. Like, it kind of seems to me like we got a lot of bangers that were not mainstream big movies, and that is why I really wanted to do this list before my best and not so best of 2024 comes out, because there are just some films on here that I have seen and I did not give dedicated reviews, but a lot of them were kind of flying under the radar, like coming out on Shudder and various other platforms. There were some that were only in select theaters, so I feel like this is now the time. It's December. We're still in December, so I'm giving you guys enough time to hopefully watch all 8 of these films before you do your yearly wrap of all your favorite horror films that came out this year. What a crazy time it has been. We have gotten so many movies. It's no 2022, but we have gotten a lot of movies, and I will say we have gotten a lot of original horror this year, and I'm so happy to talk about these films with you today. Now, we are gonna start off really strong with my honorable mention for today's video. It's What's Inside is extremely underrated, an underrated gem, if you will. It was released on Netflix, and unfortunately I didn't add it to our list today because I did see a lot of people kind of arguing that it's not a horror film and that it's more like a sci-fi kind of genre bending film. Now, to me, It's What's Inside really does kind of have a giallo feel to it. Now, I strongly believe that the director, while I don't know anything else he's worked on and I'm not unfamiliar with him, I haven't seen any interviews, I strongly believe that he is a fan of giallo because there was a score from The Red Queen Kills 7 Times playing in this film, and also a lot of the kind of like surreal shots and the lighting. A lot of it felt very giallo inspired, and if that was all just a coincidence, that's kind of crazy. But I feel like this film was so much fun. The actors are all incredible, and they had to do a lot of work here. They all kind of essentially had to be mimicking and playing each other. It's a very interesting film. I highly recommend. It still has horror elements in there. I don't know. But anyways, if you haven't seen It's What's Inside, you definitely should. And now at number 8, we have Loow Lives. Directed by Tesh Gudakonda and Mitch Oliver. This is a Tubi original film. This movie is also in my recent video, my girl dinner cinema video. I talked about it a lot on there, so I will not talk too much about it because I know you probably are like, girl, we just talked about this. The survival instincts of a road-tripping family are put to the test when they have no other choice but to stay the night at a remote homestead. Okay, so Loow Lives is an absolute blast. I know if you have seen a lot of Tubi originals, I know, girl. Me too. Some of us out here, we deserve financial compensation. A lot of these Tubi originals are not good. They are not good. But I will say Loow Lives does not suffer from that. This is a very well-made little indie film. The acting is great. The family dynamic is great. I really believe that everybody there is a family. We have an amazing lead and she's queer and we love that. This is a film that follows a cannibalistic family and it's wild. It's wild, it's great, it's fun. It's one of those ones you can easily throw on. It's short and you know what? You're supporting indie horror filmmaking, so definitely try to get that one in. If you want something short, fun, and sweet, this is your jam. Okay, and now moving on to one that did have a release, but unfortunately got kicked out of theaters insanely fast, which is a travesty. At number 7, we have Your Monster, directed by Caroline Lindy. After her life falls apart, soft-spoken actress Laura Franco finds her voice again when she meets a terrifying yet weirdly charming monster living in her closet. Now, I did an entire dedicated review to Your Monster. I was sent a lovely early screener for that film, and I have to tell you guys, Your Monster is one that you really don't want to miss. If you are a horror, romance, girly, if you like a little bit of a musical in there. This is not one of those films that's like a full-on musical where people are singing at each other. Like, no, it's not that. There's just musical numbers because there's like a musical going on within the movie. And we are following an actress. This film is so cute. If you've seen my review, you know I will spare you all the details, but it stars Melissa Barrera, and she's amazing, not to mention her voice is amazing. She has come such a long way since In the Heights. Her voice sounds so much more beautiful somehow, and she gives such a stunning performance in this very small, intimate film. I loved this film. Like, this film reminded me of being a young teenager and like loving Twilight and just loving those like really romantic horror-esque kind of things. Like Twilight was my big one, and there was so many others around this time that are kind of like similar. Like there was that one, what was it called, like Beastly or Beast? I don't know. It was like Vanessa Hudgens, and it was also like a Beauty and the Beast type of thing. So Your Monster is kind of like a Beauty and the Beast romance thing. It's a very good movie. I know that it may seem generic, but I promise you, it is so worth it. The ending is gag worthy, and I will tell you right now, the writing, the way it's shot, superb. I love this movie so much. I gave it 5 stars. It is definitely for the weird girlies, and I'm so here for that. I hate that it was in theaters for about 2 weeks, and then they literally just like kicked it out of there and put it on VOD. Hate that for us. Hate that for us. They're always doing our girls so dirty. And now we are getting away from the silly, the cutesy horror, and we're getting into one that really flew under the radar for a lot of people, it seems. This is one that was quite intense, and oh my god, did I love it. At number 6, we have Odity, directed by Damien McCarthy. After the brutal murder of her twin sister, Darcy goes after those responsible by using haunted items as her tools for revenge. Okay, so Odity was an interesting one. Odity was in some theaters, and I think it was in there for a limited time. Then it went straight to Shudder. Unfortunately, when Odity came out, it was not in really any theaters near me. It was further into the city, and for some reason, there were only super late showtimes. I don't know what that was about. They really did them dirty. Now, Odity is an interesting little Irish horror film. This is about 98 minutes, and it is incredibly tense and has this really fun little like kind of comedic callback in the ending to something that goes on earlier in the movie. And I really have to appreciate that because I thought that that was so cute. The movie goes in places and has a lot of really interesting twists and turns that I personally didn't see coming. There was some things where I was like, that's suspicious. But ultimately, I feel like they executed the entire story so well, and there was a lot of genuine shocking moments in it. And I am a sucker for these kind of supernatural, ghost, haunted item type of horror films, and they absolutely nail it. There's a sense of dread. The film is very, very cold. Everything is very blue and bleak. And I love that. I think it's a great little creepy horror film, especially for the spooky season. I'm so sad that it didn't get a wider release in the theater because I do feel like it really would have been a success. But it is currently on Shudder. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend doing so. Now on to number 5, we have The Coffee Table, directed by Kay Casas. Jesus and Maria are a couple going through a difficult time in their relationship. Nevertheless, they have just become parents. To shape their new life, they decide to buy a new coffee table, a decision that will change their existence. The Coffee Table. This is a film that everybody is sleeping on. I'm not sure what is going on, but this really, I wish this had a bigger release here. This is a film that is from Spain, and it did actually come out in film festivals, and I believe in Spain in 2022, but we didn't get it here until this year. The Coffee Table is definitely a disturbing film, but the disturbing thing that happens in the film does not happen on screen. So if that's something that you feel like you can still handle, then maybe you should check it out. I loved everything about The Coffee Table. This is a film that makes you incredibly uncomfortable from start to finish. You feel like you cannot breathe. You feel like you're getting high blood pressure. Everything that's happening, you kind of feel like you're in the room with them and you are just like wanting to scream. And I love when a film can make me feel that immersed in the space. It's a great film. If you're into disturbing films, if you're into films from Spain, you're definitely gonna like The Coffee Table. It's got some weird dark humor in there, and it's a good one. It's a good original little horror film. Honestly, a master at tension, this movie. So good. Chef's kiss. And now at number 4, I'm so excited to talk about this one. We have Faceless After Dark, directed by Raymond Wood. Following her breakout role in a killer clown horror flick, Bowie now finds herself struggling to capitalize on its success. But when she is suddenly held hostage by an unhinged fan posing as the same killer clown, horror becomes her reality as she fights to survive the night and escape before he completes his sinister plan to recreate the film's fatal plot. So it's so sad that Faceless After Dark kind of did not get the love that it deserved this year. This film was co-written by Jenna Cannell, who also plays our lead in this, and I really, really love Jenna Cannell. I think they are such a strong actor, and they just do so much. They are so great on screen. If you guys are unfamiliar, Jenna Cannell was actually in the first Terrifier film, and they were also in Renfield for a little bit. Anyways, Faceless After Dark was a really fun movie for me. It feels like a movie that is kind of tailored for me. We're following an actress, and the whole thing is really interesting because it's kind of making commentary on, you know, being a horror actor and just being like in the horror community itself and like the whole like horror con culture and parasocial relationships. And I really love what they did with it. I just loved it. I feel like Jenna Cannell really got to talk about their experience, especially with Terrifier, and kind of bring that element to this. And it feels like a really personal story for them, and I just resonated. It feels like one of those movies that's kind of just tailored for me. As someone that is a woman in the horror space, I feel like I have myself many times dealt with very strange, disgusting, disturbing DMs that I should not be receiving, and also dealing with a lot of people that have parasocial relationships with me. And I'm glad that this film talks about that. Like, honestly, this film and Smile 2 from this year did really well with talking about parasocial relationships, so that really resonates with me personally. Faceless After Dark is a great time. You should definitely watch it. You're supporting, yet again, indie horror filmmaking, and Jenna Cannell is amazing. This feels so much like Joker for bisexual girls. Like, I loved everything about Faceless After Dark. It is just so much fun. There is great lighting. It's just a great time. You should definitely check it out. Oh my God, girl. I'm so excited to talk about number 3 right now. And I am so sad that I did not do a full-on review of this film. Unfortunately, when I saw this, a lot of movies were coming out at the same time, so I couldn't give it a dedicated review, but we're gonna talk about it right now. At number 3, we have Mads, directed by David Moreau. A teenager stops off to see his dealer to test a new drug before heading off for a night of partying. On the way home, he picks up an injured woman and the night takes a surreal turn. So Mads is actually a French film. This film came out and went straight to Shudder. Girl, this movie is a wild, absolutely wild ride. I cannot wait to watch this movie again. It is 89 minutes of pure chaos. And the beauty of this film is that it is all done in one continuous take. It is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, I don't know if there was some little sneaky cuts in there, because sometimes they do say like this was all one take, but they do like little cuts in there that you kind of can't really tell. As far as I know, this film was done in all one continuous take, and it was done very, very quickly. This is a movie that does not let up. Oh my God. The French are just like killing it with horror. They have been for a while, and they are still here showing that they are doing the damn thing. Now, this movie, it starts off really, really intense. It's really interesting, but unfortunately, our leading guy, he's kind of not as interesting as the woman that we get later in the film that is played by Lori Pavi, who I am so obsessed with her now. I want to see everything she does. She doesn't even have a headshot on here. Like, I don't know. As far as I know, this is like one of her big movies. I think she was only doing shorts before this. But that is an it girl right there, and she knows how to do horror. A lot of her scenes were really giving so much Isabelle Adjani Possession 1981 vibes. Incredible work from her. And honestly, just incredible work from the filmmaker in general when it comes to the framing of the shots and everything. It was such a ride. This is a movie that feels incredibly immersive. If you haven't seen Mads, I don't want to say anything else, because it's twisty, it's turny, you don't know what the hell is going on, and you feel right there with them. It is absolutely a ride. Definitely check it out if you're into absolute chaos. Darlings, at number 2, we have one that also flew under the radar and went straight to Shudder this year. We have Exuma, directed by Jang Jae-hyun. After tracing the origin of a disturbing supernatural affliction to a wealthy family's ancestral gravesite, a team of paranormal experts relocates the remains and soon discovers what happens to those who dare to mess with the wrong grave. Okay, I was so excited to see this film because it has my boy in it. It has Choi Min-sik. You guys know I love Choi Min-sik. I love I Saw the Devil. I love Old Boy. Old Boy is one of my favorite films ever. It's not a film I watch a lot, but it is one of my favorites. Masterpiece right there. Choi Min-sik is such a phenomenal actor, and he shows that he is still doing the damn thing. Exuma is a great, really fun film. We have a stellar cast. Everybody is amazing, and they do such a great job. I loved learning all about this Korean folklore, and it was just a really interesting movie. As a Puerto Rican person, we have so much like brujeria and folklore too, so it was kind of really interesting to see like, oh my god, no, you don't mess with that, you don't mess with the brujeria. And a lot of it was like kind of similar to a lot of things in like Puerto Rican and even like Dominican culture that I feel like I really just resonated with that. It's really a great film, and it has such a powerful ending, and there were so many moments where I felt like I was going to cry. Like, it's just a really great, heartfelt film, and if you're really into a good, like, slow burn, I definitely think you're gonna love Exuma. It is such an interesting film, and not to mention, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's so bleak and dreary and just... it's rainy and I love it. And now I'm so happy at number 1. I'm so happy to talk about this movie. I actually just watched it before doing this video because I was like, girl, I have to make sure I watch all the movies that a bunch of my friends got to see early and were telling me about. This was one of them, and I'm so happy. I did not expect it to be at number 1. It is here at number 1. We have Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. This film is directed by Ariane Louise Says. Sasha is a young vampire with a serious problem. She's too sensitive to kill. When her exasperated parents cut off her blood supply, Sasha's life is in jeopardy. Luckily, she meets Paul, a lonely teenager with suicidal tendencies, who is willing to give his life to save hers. But their friendly agreement soon becomes a nocturnal quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes before day breaks. I loved this movie so much. I had a feeling that this movie would kind of hit me, like, I want to say about 20 minutes in. I was like, okay, the look we're going for, the vibe, overall, like Sasha's role, I felt so seen. Now, I kind of read Sasha's character as a demisexual, kind of awkward teenager, and I really resonated with her so much, and it's such a beautiful movie. Now, I'm a sucker for vampire films like this. Like, I really loved A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and I will say these movies are very, very different, but this movie is beautiful. There are so many scenes that talk about not wanting to be on this earth, and they talk about it in such a real way. It feels like one of those movies that you have to see because we need to have these conversations. And to be honest, I loved so much of the relationship between Sasha and Paul. I thought it was so beautiful. And this is just a movie that really just resonated with me. It feels really, really personal to me. There's actually a great sequence in this where Sasha begins playing a song on the record player. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. I won't say the song. But this song specifically is actually one of my favorite songs, like, ever. And it really speaks a lot to me. And it's a song that I listen to a lot when I'm feeling really sad. So the fact that that was the song and I had no idea that happened, I was like, oh my God, like, she's so me. And just her whole relationship with Paul is beautiful, and I just love it so much. She felt seen and she felt validated by this person, and they really matched each other's freak, and that's all I can ask for. I'm gonna be talking about that movie for a while. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys, well, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And please let me know in the comments if there are any horror releases from 2024 that flew under my radar and that you would like to recommend me. I hope I helped you find a hidden gem in here that you haven't seen. And I really, really hope you guys plan to watch these films before the year ends so that you can say you watched so much this year, and so that you can really think about your overall favorites of this year without discounting some of the lesser known, smaller films that came out this year. I think that would be really nice to see. Well, once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.